Does Jesus matter to women? Part 1. Life before and after Christ's ministry. Most of the women and still half of the world do not have the basic rights that men have in their societies. Ancient Greek women were little more than sexual slaves with virtually no freedom. A Greek woman could not divorce her husband, though he could do so to her at any time. She was in his absolute control. Greek women were prohibited from inheriting property. Once again, the husband was in absolute control. In Jewish culture, it was forbidden for a woman's voice to be heard amongst men's voices in public. They were to speak quietly with each other and be passive listeners. They had no say outside the home. After Christ came. The turning point in the history of women was the birth of Jesus Christ. Jesus went against the ancient beliefs and practices that defined women as inferior. He did this both by his words and his deeds. In the Gospel of John, chapter 4, you can read the respectful way that Jesus treated and discussed with the Samaritan woman. To speak to the hated Samaritans was bad enough, but a Samaritan woman? That was against belief. In Luke chapter 10, we learn about Jesus visiting the home of Mary and Martha. Martha took the usual woman's role in getting dinner ready, but Mary went to sit at Jesus' feet to learn from him. Jesus encouraged Mary in this despite knowing that he had violated Jewish laws. If you read John chapter 11, you can hear Jesus speaking to Martha, the heart of the gospel. I am the resurrection and the life. He who believes in me, though he die, yet shall he live. And whoever lives and believes in me shall never die. John is the only gospel where this is recorded, and it was given to a woman. In the important announcement of his resurrection, Jesus gave this task exclusively to a woman. Jesus often came to the defense of the deprived and neglected, and women certainly fit into this category. The fact that women followed Jesus was highly unusual. In the culture of that day, only prostitutes and women of low repute would follow a man without a male escort. Don't conclude that Jesus came along to start a women's movement. He didn't. He came to change the hearts and the minds of people, and when that happens, there follows change in the society. Although Jesus entered into a polygamous culture, he never gave any support to polygamy. When he spoke of marriage, it was always in the context of one man with one woman, and this became the norm in all the countries where the church was prominent. In part 2 of How Jesus Mattered to Women, we'll look at the role that they played in the early church.